I think that for me, it's going to be a day about everybody else but me. But it's definitely going to be a day of celebration. I'm Starr Thompson. I'm the safeties coach here at Georgetown College football, and I was formerly a player last year.
My name is Matthew Longstreet, and I played soccer at Georgetown College.
Matthew's a great friend of mine. Matthew's a guy that our relationship goes way back. It extends back into high school. We went to the same high school from the same city. But when we got to Georgetown, our relationship really got to flourish.
We were two guys from South, so we hung out all the time together because we knew each other versus a whole bunch of other people we didn't know. And from that moment on, he and I were in a Bible study together. He and I would go and get food together. We'd go out together all the time. We'd go hang out with friends. We'd go hang out with our high school friends at UK. We almost became inseparable at some time.
Matthew's a guy that's always had my back. He's a very high character, high moral guy, and he's a guy that I know that I can trust. A guy that's been accountable to me and accountable for himself for many, many years.
Starr became one of my best friends and one of my brothers in Christ because what he did for me was he was a friend. And some people may say, oh, well, that's really cliche, and oh, good job for saying that. But no, truly. I mean, think of people in your life that are truly a friend to you, that are there for you all the time. The ups, the downs, the in-betweens, even when life's boring and even when it's awesome. And it's all because of the Lord. Ever since high school, he and I have been bros.
Matthew is definitely a man that I see being a part of my life in the future, and I know he would probably echo the same sentiment.
It's funny, one day I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I see this ad for Mazda, and it's called the Mazda Heroes contest. I was thinking, okay, this isn't true, this isn't real, but whatever, I'll see what it is. So I click on it and I start reading it, and it's legit. It's Mazda, and what they're doing is they're promoting 50 people in the United States that they deem as heroes. So I clicked it, and I was told to send a 1-minute video about somebody, and that person was Starr, without a doubt.
I got an email on my phone one day, and it was from a lady that I was not familiar with, but she was with Mazda, and she asked me for my full legal name. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. Junk email happens all the time, spam happens all the time. But I was like, she's asking for my full legal name. That's pretty easy information to come by, so that's not something I wouldn't be too bent out of shape with someone knowing. And so I responded, and I told her. Not too far after that, I got a call from Matthew Longstreet, and he was saying, hey, I heard you got an email from somebody. And I was like, yeah, how did you know that? And then he told me that he had nominated me for essentially this award called the Mazda Heroes program.
So a hero is somebody who's done extraordinary acts in their community. Someone that's been a leader, someone that's been a light, someone that has been truly a hero in the community to bring it out of darkness.
And Matthew nominated me as one of those people, and I'm actually in the process of being in the final round in the selection process. So really cool experience, really caught me off guard. And I actually looked it up myself just to make sure it was legit, because you hear something like that, type of sweepstakes type of thing, and you don't really believe it until you see it for your own eyes. And I saw it, and I read the details of it, and just all the different types of people that they were having interview, and there was over 100,000 applications, and I'm in the final round now, so that was a huge, huge honor. The fact that I'm at the point that I'm at now, I'm still thankful for that. It's been a great experience. I've actually got to do an interview with Doug Volmer from Good Morning America. I believe he's a producer for Good Morning America, and we had a great conversation. And he was just talking to me about the process and all the different people he's talked to, and he wanted to get to know me, get to know why I felt like I was nominated and that sort of thing.
There's so many different directions you can go with how Starr's a hero. So let's start first on a communal basis and how he's been a hero in his own community. All right, so let's talk about a guy who has started a football camp at Georgetown College, the first youth football camp, in which he brought kids all throughout 5th grade to 8th grade and invited them to come to not only grow to be leaders, not only grow to be great football players, but just to learn and grow to be better people in their community. Starr became a light and an example to those kids. Starr was someone who decided to take all of that money and give it to a learning center and take all the kids he just taught football to and now give them money to the community center that they're learning their life skills at. So not only does he take them and teach them something that's awesome and really fun, but then all the money that he gets from that, he's now giving back to the very people that came to the camp and other people in the community to advance more and more and more communal growth?
About the Ed Davis Learning Center camp. So I remember having a conversation with Kennedy Flynn at OEC. I took her out for lunch at OEC, and we were sitting at the table, and I remember telling her, I looked her in the eye, and I said, I feel like the Lord is calling me to lead a youth football camp. And she was like, okay, well then I think you should do it. And so this was probably a couple years before the actual camp happened. And I just remember, like, time went on, and I kept feeling this egging feeling like, man, I should be doing this. Is something I should do. And then one day I finally brought it up to Coach Cronin. I had a meeting with Coach Cronin. I said, Coach, I feel like the Lord has laid this idea on my heart, and I think that it should happen, and I want to know what steps I need to take in order to make that happen. And Coach Cronin, all props to him. He's an amazing guy to work with. He was so gracious throughout that whole process of just showing me what it would take and the things that I needed to do. And then my next step was to talk to Brian Evans. And same thing there. Like, all props to Brian Evans. He backed the whole thing. He supported it. And it was just like that, just a done deal. And that really affirmed to me that that was something, that was a good testament that this is something I should be doing. The real reflection that made me feel like this was something I should be doing was, number one, I've always had a heart for kids. You know, that's something I've always really carried with me, is I love kids. And I really do believe that children are the future and that we have to invest in them. And a lot of times I feel like kids nowadays get neglected because it's so easy to just throw a screen in front of them and allow that to occupy their time. And they don't really have that many options outside of that that kids in the past may have had. And so I think doing something like a youth football camp where you can get kids active and get them in community with each other and allow those kids to have a different avenue of fun and also good exercise that they wouldn't normally have is very important. And so the camp was pretty much a no-brainer for me. And then deciding where the proceeds should go, I'd always heard great things about the Ed Davis Learning Center. And I actually went over there and I sat down and I had a couple of conversations with the owner over there. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm doing this camp and I want the proceeds to go to benefit children. It's a camp for children, so the proceeds should go to help children directly. And I said, I've heard a lot about what you do, and I really respect it, and I really feel like this would be something that we could do for you guys to help you all out. What do you think about that? And he was all for it. And it's just so funny how all for this camp everybody was throughout this entire process. You know, it was really something that I would have never been able to script that way. There should have been a lot more hurdles to jump through. There should have been a lot more obstacles that I had to overcome. But I really didn't. Honestly, I really didn't. And so the biggest thing then now is to get the word out. And I went around all to the different middle schools, elementary schools, telling them about the camp, putting out flyers, asking the teachers and the coaches, hey, would you promote this to your kids? Asking the Ed Davis Center guy, would you allow your kids to come? And then luckily I had a connection with Chick-fil-A. You know, Chick-fil-A is always coming through in the clutch for somebody. So I reached out to the owner here in Georgetown, Brent Dennard, and I asked him, I said, hey, Mr. Brent, you know, I'm having this camp. These kids need to eat. They need lunch. They're coming around in the morning. They're going to stay through lunch. Would it be possible I could pay for lunch in some way, and then we could work out some kind of deal, you know? And he told me, he looked me in the face, he said, look, how about you get us T-shirts and you put the Chick-fil-A logo on the back, and we'll provide lunch for free. You just give us a tally of how many sandwiches you need, and we'll send you chips with it and a drink, and you just put the logo on the T-shirts for the camp, and that'll be it. That'll be our deal. And so it was just really, really awesome to see the support and the love that people had for each other. And I think that's something that should be highlighted, especially in today's time. There's so much negative going around in the media. There are good people in the world. There are. And they're right around your community. All you have to do sometimes is walk down the street and you can find one. And then we got to do the camp, and the kids were awesome. Like, they came, they were energetic, they were running around, and I could tell at first they were a little standoffish because it's like that initial meeting, everybody's got to get the icebreakers out of the way. And you're bringing in kids from all across the community from these different areas, and they're not always familiar with each other. But then it was like after that first day, not even the first day, probably like after the first hour, those kids were out there just having a ball, and they were out there getting to know each other, and they were making memories that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to make. And that right there showed me that it was worth it. It was so worth it.
So that's Community Bases by Starr Hero. Now let's talk about what Starr did at Georgetown College that made him a hero to both me and to many other people on campus. We mentioned the friend part. Starr was always there. And sometimes friends are heroes. They're the people that drag us out of the darkest times in our life. They're also the people that praise us and glorify us and grow us the most in our life. That's what a hero does, right? They save the day. And then when they do save the day, they bring the whole city with them and they get a key and everybody's excited. Well, that's Starr. Starr did that for every person he met. Not only does he develop playbooks in football, but he develops playbooks on how to be a friend in your life. He learns you. He learns who you are. He learns what you like, and he learns what you don't like. He learns what you're good at and what you're not good at. And what he does is he drafts up a playbook of how to be the best friend that he can be for you. So how do you do that? He did it in my life. He did it on the football team, being a defensive captain and an All-American, leading on and off the field. He spoke at multiple different high school, middle school, and elementary schools in the community on Christian values, leadership, growth, and what that looks like. And then on top of that, Starr also was a leader for change.
Matthew and I have served together, and we've got to see a lot of the things that we've done to benefit the community. Some of those things have included volunteering at a soup kitchen here in Georgetown called The Gathering Place, which many people are familiar with. Other things have been the youth camp that I got to do over the summer, and so many people in the Georgetown area helped support and make that happen. During this whole process of COVID-19, people were locked up in their homes for a long time, and a lot of guys were looking for mentorship. They were looking for leadership, and through the FCA organization that we both got to serve in, I was appointed to lead a Bible study in my community for a group of guys, and I've been able to mentor them and help them grow, and they've helped me grow, and I'm still in contact with a lot of those guys today and constantly trying to pour into them, and then they're praying for them and making sure that things are going well in their life, and they have questions. They know that they can come to me, and it's been a really great relationship there.
You talk about a hero, and it's almost like a redundant word, Starr and hero. I mean, that's just, to me, they're the same thing. If Starr ends up winning, a couple of amazing things are going to happen. One, Starr is going to be given a car live on Good Morning America, which is absolutely insane. The car is actually a custom Mazda Miata, which is given to these 50 people who are deemed as heroes in their community. So Mazda is creating this car designed for these heroes in their community. And then on top of that, he's also going to get a lot of cash.
And one of my first thoughts was, I have a working car. Maybe this should be one of those things where I could use that to help benefit someone else. Or maybe I could use it to leverage it to help myself get better off in a position to be financially stable. But I'm now in a position where my car is garbage, and so it actually would be a huge blessing in disguise if it does come down that I was one of the winners. But I'm so thankful for Matthew and the opportunity that he's presented before me. And if I am fortunate enough to win, all glory to God, then I would be completely grateful and thankful just to be considered for that.
It's just an incredible thing to not only get the car, but now you're going to get cash with the car, and you get to have your story told on a national spectrum to millions of Americans. That's one heck of a gift, and to be honest with you, I still don't know if that's enough.
Well, if I do win, I'm probably going to have to do my happy dance. That's definitely number one. Like I said, I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to have a very thankful attitude about it. And the number one person I should be grateful to is Matthew Longstreet. I mean, he's the one that presented this opportunity, and I'm going to be forever thankful that he did that and he thought of me in that capacity. Even before that, I'm going to be even more thankful to the Lord for allowing this opportunity to come my way, and then Matthew Longstreet.
Starr lives in what he needs, but he constantly gives all the things that he wants, because he wants other people to be happy. Starr is going to find a way to bless someone with the gifts he's given.
If we do get to that point, that's going to be a good day. It's going to be a day of celebration for sure. And that's going to be a day where I'm not going to be thinking of myself. I'm going to be thinking about all the other people that helped me to get to this point. Because I know I wouldn't even have done things like the Ed Davis Learning Center camp had it not been for my Georgetown community, my family, my friends, my loved ones, the people that have supported me, that have grown me, guys on campus like Tyler Soul and Campus Outreach that have equipped me to do things like go out and share the gospel and mentor guys like Brian Langlands that are constantly pouring into people on campus to equip them to know how to deal with the adversity and the obstacles that this world has. And I think that for me, it's going to be a day about everybody else but me. But it's definitely going to be a day of celebration.
That man is finally going to get everything that the world has wanted to give him that he deserves. You've given to us. It's time for us to give back to you. The community, his friends, his family, and now America, literally America, is saying, Starr, thank you for what you've done for all of us.